You haven't.
I have.
Have you checked it?
Do not interrupt me. I did not interrupt
No,
you.
you
I have checked. I have checked each thing before making my findings.
No,
now,
you
if
haven't.
have you do not.
Yo, we back with another video, and today I'm with my homie, August Ocean and Geno Nwachukwu Bellingham. Today we are going to be talking about our top 5 coach this season, and probably we are going to argue about the rankings. So let's get into the video. For me, I don't know if I'm going to go 1-1-1 or you go straight 5.
Go straight 5.
I'm going to go Luis Enrique. I'm going to go Hansi Flick. I'm going to go Company. No, I'm going to go Arteta. Then I'm going to go Company and Guardiola.
Okay.
Number 1 spot for the best managers this season goes to Luis Enrique, no doubt. Luis Enrique. And 2, Vincent Kompany is my number 2. I don't have Guardiola at 3. I don't know who they choose Guardiola for the 2026. I go Hansi Flick, Arteta, and did I say Pep still sneaking, but anyhow, no.
Oh, and your takes are quite valid, and I wish to hear you people talk this out. But the best manager of 2026 this season has been Mikel Arteta, and you'll know why soon. The second best manager this season has been Luis Enrique, but it's close. I want to give it to Company so bad, but it's close. Company, the fourth has been the fourth has been Pep Guardiola, and the fifth has been Hansi Flick. Right, the fifth has been Hansi Flick. So let me hear from Trouble FC go through his list and explain your reasons why you give your list.
Yeah, you're just rich beating me. I just think you're rich. Are you serious right now? Like, you think that Arteta is number 1?
I'll give you the reason why.
First of all, Enrique is more tactically sound than Arteta. First of all, that's my first reason. And the second reason is the way Enrique sets up his team. People keep complaining about how the players are part-time players. Maybe if he was in the league, in Premier League, he wouldn't have done the same. But I still remember there was a point in time that when PSG were not able to win the Champions League, we were still the same people saying because of the quality of teams they play with in their league, they cannot come into the Champions League and compete well. But with what we have seen, the tactical brilliance which Enrique comes up with, you see the fullbacks attacking so well, you see the midfielder dropping into being the third centre back, and then the 2 centre backs dropping into being a very, very good ball playing centre back. Then the front 3 moving around so well, and then when they want to be defensively solid, bro, they are one of the hardest teams to break down. Then you see players like Dembele, which is a shit of a player. Let's not take anything from him. But under Enrique has found a way to stabilize him and make him play so well, even having so much stats. Because Dembele in Barca was shit, and you're not going to tell me the only difference that makes Dembele a better player now is because of the is the system in which he plays with, turning Vitinha into what hell of a midfielder. I don't know if you know, bringing in Pacho, Kvaratskhelia, back-to-back finals in the Champions League. A team that have gone out from the group stage twice already. That's to show you the turnaround which he has had, and I think the consistency in which Enrique has is valid. And I can understand you bringing up Arteta as one of, but Arteta did one thing this season that dropped him off from my list. The main reason, the main focus point that he's still in a title race is the only reason. If Arteta at some point of the season he was leading with 9 points, could have gone to 12, could have gone to 15. I remember games after games, some Arsenal fans will be raging and being like, how is he not winning the league already? And you can't go from that point. I put any manager that foot in that position. I put company in that position. I put Flick in that position. I'm not saying company is better. I put Flick in that position. And I put Henrique in that position. I don't know if they were independent, but I put them in that position. They don't shy away from winning matches like what Arteta did. And they do not have a winning mentality. And at the end of it all, it's about lifting trophies and having a winning mentality. I know Arteta has took you from where you are with everything that you're saying, but it does not mean because Simeone has raised Atletico Madrid up that he's going to. I don't know if he gets, and yet he won 2 games to 2 finals. Let's not forget about it. That's why Arteta is not number 1. I just wanted to clear the air.
Okay.
And I'm saying the ranking of how my players are.
I think everybody should go 1. Explain one thing. Explain.
For me, Luis Enrique is number 1, and I'll get to you why. We are saying it based on this season, right? Based on this season, Luis Enrique, people will say that PSG players are part-time footballers. But look at it this way. Imagine having a good team, because we've always known that the PSG team, they've always had the most quality of players in League One. They've always had the best team in League One. But never have we seen PSG being able to rest the number of players where they've rested in the league. I mean, their best player played 9 games, started 9 games in the league this season. PSG have already lifted the league.
No, they haven't.
They haven't.
No, they haven't.
They haven't. But they're still on top.
Yeah.
And they are going to eventually win the league.
Yeah.
Okay? And while doing that, they are not playing the league with their best players. Saving their best players for the Champions League. And this is PSG having gotten to this position in the Champions League is their second Champions League final in 2 years, back-to-back Champions League finals. I mean, but not for Madrid when they did 3 beats. The last time we saw this feat was from Sir Alex Ferguson's Manchester United. Enrique is tactically sound, but I don't want to compare him tactically sound. I don't want to compare him to Arteta tactically, because Arteta on his own is tactically sound. Enrique is number 1 for me based on achievements. Being able to get to the Champions League final, being able to rest his players in the league, play with mid players while resting his.
Furthermore, let's not forget, I'm just throwing this in. The 2 phases in which he has played in, he has had the toughest draws so far. Last season had the toughest draws. This season was at the bracket of death. This side, I know I'm not trying to discredit anything from any other team that is doing, but we also have to acknowledge these have been. God, you can see for yourself.
So, like I was saying, being able to rest players in the league, keep their key players fresh for their Champions League fixtures. I mean, if you think it's easy, try it in your league. Although you can make an argument that your league is more competitive. But if you want to do it, get players that are so good so that you can rest them and play your mid players in the league. It's not an easy feat going to the Champions League finals back to back. Even Pep didn't do it with City. He had to wait one more year before going to the second Champions League final. So I respect Luis Enrique so much. And I also respect Arteta. Arteta's work at Arsenal is not going unnoticed. He has transformed Arsenal too, but I just don't think he's number 1 right now in the world.
Yeah, you think he's number 4?
I never said I think he's number 4.
You give him number 4.
Okay.
You said he's number 4. Now let me tell you guys why Arteta is number 1. It's just funny, right? For the most part of this season, Arsenal has been rated the number one team in the world. Right? They finished the top in the league phase. They beat Vincent Kompany's team. They are unbeaten in the Champions League and they are made it to the final. They are on top of the Premier League. We are talking based on this league. No team has performed better than Mikel Arteta's team this season. They are unbeaten in the Champions League. They have conceded 4 goals in the Champions League. They have the most clean sheets ever in the Champions League competition so far. And they, from last season, they made the final. But I'm not talking of this season. They made this final. Right? They are saying that, see, right? Luis Enrique is incredible. He's very intelligent, right? He's found a way to roughing through the playoffs to finding a way to get to the PSG Champions League final. He rests his players and saves his best players. He has found a format that works. But you can't tell me that in the Champions League, PSG from the beginning of the Champions League till now is better than an unbeaten Arsenal. It just doesn't, you get, it's just based on this season. I'm not saying that Mikel Arteta is a better coach than Luis Enrique. I'm saying this season, Mikel Arteta has outperformed Luis Enrique this season up to this point that they have made in the final. Right? Both of them are brilliant tactically, right? Luis Enrique is a madman in his tactics. Arteta has been chastised for what they call the dark arts. But
I don't actually think it's a dark
no,
art.
I know it's not, but it's what the masses say.
It's what works for them.
Exactly. And he has found a way to do it tremendously. Right? Nobody thought that Arsenal Nobody thought that Arsenal would make it to the Champions League final. Talk less of being unbeaten. At the top of the Premier League.
Arsenal had the easiest route to the Champions.
They played Bayern Munich. Arguably the second best team aside PSG in the competition so far. It's not just about the routes. They play difficult teams. It's a draw. You can't, it's not, you get. But my point is, right, Arsenal has been the most consistent team. Arsenal has 18 clean sheets in the Premier League, 9 clean sheets in the Champions League. All that is a feat towards Mikel Arteta's brilliance this season. And I understand how you people did your ranking, but I just can't say that those coaches have done more this season for them to be rated higher than Mikel Arteta this season.
For me, Arteta is never higher than Hansi Flick. I'll come to that argument. But first of all, you said in the course of the whole season, there are 2 parts of the season. We all knew that in the first half of the season, Arsenal were the undisputed best team in the world after the first part of the season. That includes the group stage which they played in the Champions League. But that does not mean that's how
the
league phase. And that does not mean that's how you conclude your season. After all, we saw Liverpool playing the league phase in the Champions League last season where they were phenomenal, and even in their league. But the second part of the season they dropped off. And you not tell me that because of that they are still the best team in the world. My point is that Arsenal were the best at the first half of the season, and the second half of the season, whether you like it or not, you actually dropped off, and that's why Man City have caught up with you in the league. Whether you like it or not, Arsenal had the easier drought. I'm not taking away the fact that you have the most clean sheets in the Champions League ever, but thinking of it, you knew you were lucky. But I'm not saying you have lost, but you knew you were lucky. After all, Atletico knocked out Barcelona, but still, you played Leverkusen. It was not as if you had it easy still. It seemed like you're supposed to maybe bulldoze and pass. You now play Sporting. You still struggle to pass. Maybe it's just how Arsenal plays, and then you now play Atletico Madrid, which got you to the final. You can bring all this face and say Arsenal had the most minutes, but it's based on how you play. I can also bring out this face and say PSG score more goals than you. Because it's a matter of tactics. Truthfully, you see that Mikel Arteta sits back a bit while the PSG team are more advanced in pressing and making sure you lose your balls in danger areas. And it all boils down to this part that Arteta has been abysmal in the second half of the season, whether you like it or not. For the past 3 seasons, he has been unrecognizable from what he has done in the first half of the season. And that's the whole point. Like, if you can't keep it up, that's the consistency in everything. If you cannot keep it up, there's no point. I even go as far as saying that he's not even better than Hansi Flick this season. Hansi Flick has been that good. See, let's just put it like this. I don't think that you carry Arteta and put in the Barcelona team before now. Mark my words, before now you have Rafinha that you never know whether he's a starter. Yamal was trying to pick up the groove. Pedri coming back from injury, you were never even sure of starting. De Jong still having injury problem. They had to play Casado. Bernal going on a long-term ACL. Araujo abysmal at the point. Koundé, they were not sure whether his best part was defensively. The only consistent player was Balde at that point when Hansi Flick came in. But I think if you carry Hansi Flick with the money which they spend in the Premier League and toss him and put inside that Arsenal team, he does more good than what Arteta does. Don't get me wrong. Arteta took Arsenal from where they were, but it does not still excuse the fact that it does not mean because he took me from where I was means I'll always remember where you want me to be. I can give you an example of Simeone. Everybody will say Simeone took away the Atletico from where they were to where they are now. But do you think that where Atletico are now is where they want to be? They will have to move on. And even with how the season have gone, even if Arsenal end up winning the Premier League and the Champions League, some Arsenal fans still want Arteta sacked. I don't think they get how bad it was. They were leading a league in 9 points with an outstanding game to play, and they are still in a point of the season with 2 games remaining, and they are not sure if they will win the Premier League. That's how crazy it was. With a Man City side that has been very, very inconsistent, beaten by a Real Madrid side that has how many injury problems? They never win one leg. Out of 2 legs, they not win one. With the drama, the whole issue that has been going, they were knocked out. It's just imagine I just think the whole question is about it's more of Flick and Arteta than Henrik and Arteta.
I completely, you have made some outrageous statements just now. Completely outrageous. Let me start bit by bit. It's not just about the style of play of attacking and defensive. Arteta is unbeaten. It's not about how many goals. He hasn't lost a single game.
It's not the first person
no interruptions.
It's not the first
person to go unbeaten, right? It's not the first person to do it, but he's the only person to do it this season. Because the argument we're having is this season. That's the whole conversation. The top 5 managers this season. This season, he's the only one unbeaten. This season, he's the one with the most clean sheets and the most defensive. This season, he's in the final of the Champions League. This season, seeing Rafinha, I have Matasaka, Koscielny, Hector Bellerin, a joke of a defense before Arteta. Yes, Arteta was the one that brought in Saka that played left back before Saka went to the right wing.
How many years?
Wait, how many years? You brought it. You went the years back. Right, you went the years back. You were trying to bring out Hansi Flick's credibility in building up Arsenal. Do you know what Arteta did for 7 years without the Champions League? Do you know where I was before Arteta? Saying that, this where he has been. The whole conversation was who is the top 5 this season. This season alone is the context of the conversation. Emotions aside, Arteta is in the Champions League final and the top of the Premier League. And wait, Arteta is in the Champions League final and the top of the Premier League. Luis Enrique is in the Champions League final and about to win the league. Hansi Flick has won his league, but is out of the Champions League. right? Mikel Arteta, he's unbeaten in the Champions League. Mikel Arteta faced Vincent Kompany and won. Mikel Arteta ended at the top of the league phase in the Champions League and is unbeaten till date. At a point in time, Arsenal was unarguably the best team. At no point in this season has Barcelona been the best team. At no point. Bayern at a point, Arsenal at a point, PSG right now. At no point has Barcelona been in that conversation this season.
Yes. You mean it, what? Yes, I accept what you're
No,
saying.
he's supposed to.
I said Luis Enrique was first.
Yes.
Second for me is Vincent's Kompany.
Yes.
Vincent's Kompany, since taking on that Bayern Munich job, I know that wasn't this season. That was the previous season. But Bayern Munich recruited him having been relegated with Burnley. I mean, to trust a manager who just got relegated with his team. He came into that Bayern Munich team, did a great job, magnificent job. And if you look at them now, they have the best attacking trio in Europe. And if you look what he's working with, the way he has built that team, changing Upamecano completely from the centre back he was, who was always being ridiculed for making mistakes, even though sometimes he makes a few errors, but you can see the solidity which Upamecano plays with. Then you come to his fullbacks, Konrad Laimer and who's the other fullback? The way they play, they don't play like fullbacks. I played these guys and the way they played against Madrid, their fullbacks always coming into midfield, making it so hard for you in midfield to regain possession, always pressing, keeping the ball. It's so hard to get the ball off these guys. Like the brand of football in which they play. They may have faced Arteta's Arsenal at the beginning of the season and lost. But the Bayern Munich team now and the Bayern Munich team that faced Mikel Arteta is completely different, bro.
I disagree with you there.
It's completely different.
I disagree with you there.
It's a completely different. The Bayern Munich right now and the Bayern Munich that faced Mikel Arteta. These Bayern Munich are hunters. And to them, Arsenal is prey. If they got Arsenal right now,
That's
if they got Arsenal right now, with those front three, HK, Lucho, and Olise.
But they did then, and that's the funny thing here. That's why
And Olise. That's the thing. That's the thing now. At the beginning of the season got kicked off, and you guys were having like season of your lives, having a great season. But
And
then,
at the half of the
you know, as the season goes in, you slowly groove into the season. You were playing the best football then. Like you said, there's no time when Barcelona were playing them. Has there been a time when Bayern Munich
yes,
have played the best football?
yes,
Yes, exactly. Even though Vincent Kompany's team were unable to make it to the final, the games where I watched Bayern Munich, Real Madrid, Bayern Munich versus PSG, I think are one of the best attacking games I've watched this season.
even in a long time.
Showing you the attacking prowess in display.
Yes.
Even though I think they were very, very poor defensively. They were really, really poor defensively.
Reckless.
Because I don't know how you score 9 goals in a game. A single game. 9 goals. Damn. Those guys are I mean, Vincent Company has done a great job, and kudos to him. That's why I have him at number two.
You see where I interject with you there a little, right? Those, like, out of most of these arguments that we're having, right? Ateta and company have gone head to head. Right? Arsenal and Enrique, they're about to go head to head. Arsenal and Flick didn't get the chance to go head to head. Company and Flick didn't get the chance to go head to head. Enrique went to head and Hansi Flick and won. Right? Now let me see, right? Bayern Munich did not have a slow start. That's the thing. Arsenal were playing the football of their life, but Bayern Munich was also playing the football of their life from the beginning of the season. Right? If you watch that, see, Arteta is very, very good at finding a way to nullify aspects of incredible teams. And the way that most times Arsenal play, because sometimes Arsenal don't really do anything too special that is not defensive. It tries to take away from what they do in game to game. But they have done this for the entire span of the competition. They have been consistent in getting through. And the funny thing that most people don't realize that at a point in time, Arsenal was without Ben White, Arsenal was without Gabriel, Arsenal was without Saliba. There was a point in time that Christian Nogard, in this Champions League phase, that they have not lost a game, Christian Nogard played my centre back.
That was your last game in the group stage.
Yes, I know. Christian Nogard, I said there was a point again that Christian Nogard played my centre back. My centre back pairing in this same Champions League has been Mosquera and Nkapie. Arsenal has had a lot of, in fact, Nkapie itself has gotten injured. Mosquera has gotten injured, Saliba has gotten injured, Gabriel has gotten injured, Ben White, Julian Timber has gotten injured, Kai Havertz came back of injured. Martin Odegaard has been in and out of injury the entire season. Saka has been injured. Eze has been injured. Zubimendi has been injured. It's only Declan Rice and Trossard. And then funny, throughout,
I have a question.
Throughout, no, it's not
Are you saying the injury is probably a reason for Arsenal's drop in performances this second half of the season?
No, I'm saying
so. Why are you throwing in the injuries?
Because I'm trying to paint you a picture. With all these injuries, they are still unbeaten
in the
Champions League and with 18 clean sheets in their league. Mikel Merino is still injured. I even forgot about him. Because you people, like, he brought in the revenue and all this. Arteta is making good with what he has. The injury issues or not, he will still unbeaten. He has found a way to impute his system in his team with all his players, that he can find a way to make it work with the mass unavailability that has. This season, Arsenal, it's not been a rosy pack. Arsenal players have not been fit this season. Go ahead.
First of all, you talked about, if I can remember, you being unbeaten. I said it and I'm saying it again. It's just like Liverpool. We had the best run of the group stage, and I'm not going to dispute it. But you can't also deny the fact that you're unbeaten was at the side of the bracket you are in. Whether you like it or not, you were at an easier route to the final. Like, without any doubt, we saw Arsenal and Barcelona reaching the final if all teams played their part in your brackets. And after the first half of the season, even with your dip of form, you did not give us convincing performances. I know you say you have not lost a game in the Champions League, but look at the games you played. You played.
Do you think? Hold on, just give me a minute. Do you think if you had been on the other side of the bracket, you would be saying you haven't lost a game?
Do you know the funny thing? I don't really want to deal in hyperboles, because the Atletico Madrid we beat knocked out the Barcelona, the Hansi Flick that is in this conversation. Do you understand? It's because in that other side of the bracket that Bayern was, in that side of the bracket that Bayern was, we have played the Bayern. We have played Bayern, we won. We have played Atletico Madrid that has knocked Barcelona out, even though football doesn't work that way. but we have not had easy games. We have played Atletico Madrid how many times this season? I think 3.
As I was saying, all those games that you play Bayern, you play Atletico, those are group stage games. And we all know that group stage games are different from knockout games. That's not undisputed. I'm not giving you facts that you being unbeaten, even the kind of run of form you had at a particular point of the season, not even giving us convincing. We saw the Sporting game now. We saw the Atletico game. Still, they were not as if they were outrageous, convincing performances. So I can still tell you that you still drop form. I know you're unbeaten, but you still drop form, and the whole tie is not over. Then you now brought up injuries. Right now, injuries is not even a question of is it. It is what it is now in football world. Because I can also list you how many players are out injured. Mendes has been out injured this season. Hakimi has been out injured this season. Joao Neves has been out injured this season. Dembele has been out. All these players I'm missing, you go and check it. Dembele has been out injured this season. Fabian Ruiz has been out injured this season. Due has been out injured this season. I'm not sure of Kvaratskhelia. Their keeper, the first choice keeper before the second choice keeper, has been out injured. That's just for PSG. For Barcelona, Balde has been out injured. Koundé has been out injured. I don't know about Kubasi and Arao. De Jong has been out injured. Pedro has been out injured. Rafinha has been out injured. Yamal, let me feel. Yamal has been out injured. So I'm just trying to paint you the picture that I know it's not all roses, but all the teams equally are facing their injury problem. I don't really know about Bayern because I'm not really looked into Bayern's team, but I'm just trying to paint you a picture that injuries happen and you have to make do of what you have because it's a long season.
You're just
My full point of view now is you told me about the Hansi Flick and this thing. There's a way you can be a better manager and upsets happen in football. And we can all come together and agree that Atletico Madrid winning Barcelona is one of those upsets. Because they did not even win Barcelona over 2 legs. Like, okay, maybe we bring up Madrid winning this thing, you get. They never put, in fact, they struggled to get it over the line against Barcelona. Same thing they did in this thing cup, and you could even see it like Barcelona already did the comeback and everything. So I'm just going to say this: the revenue that Hansi Flick got is over small to what this guy is getting in the Premier League. I know he has gotten you from where you were to where you were, but you tend to forget where you were in the league. You were 9 points clear with a game in hand. You lost the game in hand. You lost your 9 points gap and see where you are. A Man City team that could not win a stretch of games at one part of the season. I remember the January and December part of the season. They were not even okay, but you were 9 points clear at one part of the season, not just one part of the season. At least I think around February, you were 9 points clear. Convincing.
okay. I know what was said about Arteta, but to be realistic, yeah, Arteta this season has beaten Arsenal's win record in their history. Like this is the most win any manager has had for Arsenal. He has 42 wins right now out of 60 games. Right, he has 3 losses in the Premier League. He's unbeaten in the Champions League. Right now, all this year you were saying what you said about Hansi Flick, this. Know that Mikel Arteta, most of the people here, Arteta completely transformed the Arsenal team. Not one player in this Arsenal team was here before Arteta. He built his complete 22. He changed the mentality of the club. Arsenal was most likely seen as that top level team, that probably a banter team. When they always get to because they can't just get over the line. The mentality being beaten 8-2 by Bayern, being beaten 6-0 by
It was 10-2. Rephrase. Get the numbers precise.
And nothing has changed.
10-2
has changed.
Okay, don't interrupt me. He was beaten 10-2 by Bayern. Good and fine. Beaten 5-0 by Man City. Beaten 8-1 by United. You get all those kind of inconsistencies. So Mikel Arteta took them from 7th and 1st to title contenders. Arsenal now give Arsenal his own style. When we talk about Mikel Arteta's tactical brilliance, he gave him the high style of Arsenal's position-based game, high press, defend deep. Arsenal being known for trade back of set spaces. Arsenal known for, if not the best defense in Europe. And Arsenal has done so well, unbeaten in the Champions League, top of the Premier League with just one game to go now for them to be champions. This season, I genuinely don't believe that any of these managers has performed better than him this season. In the Champions League, Luis Enrique is not unbeaten. He's in the final. Yes. And Arsenal, out of all these teams, is the team that has significantly the most injuries this season. And Mikel Arteta has still been able to use what was at his disposal to get Arsenal to this stage. You get, like, majority, let's think about it. Julian Timber, Gabriel, Saliba, Hincapié, Rice, Zubimendi, Eze, Odegaard, the striker, Saka, Martinelli. The full 11 has been injured significantly.
You're not doing that. You're just saying based on you're an Arsenal fan. You know so many players that have got injured. But have you checked other teams?
Yes, I have checked. The full 11 has not been injured.
Have you checked? You're not.
I have.
You haven't.
I have.
Have you checked PSG?
Do not interrupt me. I did not interrupt you. I have checked. I have checked each team before making my findings. Now, if have you do not interrupt what I was. Do not interrupt me. Be cordial. Do not interrupt me. When you're speaking, I don't interrupt you. They can't go see that because you see that things are not going in your favor.
No.
Because the thing of the matter is that I brought fine. It's fine. Let me be cordial. Since I want you to hear the points of the dialogue. Which team has suffered more injuries? Barcelona are 11 points or they don't know in their league. And I was not saying that Madrid has been trash.
I'm not Arsenal fan.
I just say the general quality.
I don't know the number of injuries.
That's what I said. And
but
I said that
everybody has.
I wasn't down to Madrid alone.
Like now that you're telling me of shit. I know because I know this guy is like, I know you are not checking this thing, but let's leave that one aside.
Okay, fine. No, that's not what I asked. But that's not what I asked you.
I know a team who has suffered more injuries than us.
Among the teams that we are complaining about the teams that we are comparing between Vincent Kompany, Luis Enrique, Hansi Flick, which team has suffered more injuries than Arsenal? Arsenal, their full 11 minus David Raya and into their subs have been significantly injured for majority part of the season.
What do we call someone that has the most injuries? Is it like the number of players that have gone on injuries or the amount that players have stayed out of injuries?
Both of them come into context.
I know what you're saying. Did you know what you're saying? I'm not saying you're wrong. But I know the ones that I know for a PSG, like I'm not a PSG fan, but I can still list a number of players that have gone.
I know, list.
I can list Doué.
Yes.
Bakola has also gone on injury.
Yes.
Dembele has gone on injury.
Yes.
João Neves has gone on injury. Fabian Ruiz has gone on injury. Go and check it. This one is fast. Go and check whether João Neves has ever gone on injury this season with a PSG shirt. This new centre back that they bought, where Zambrani has gone on injury. I'm just telling you now. Pacho has gone on injury. Hakimi has gone on injury. Nuno Mendes has gone on injury. Their first team keeper has gone on injury. The only person that I'm not sure of that has not gone on injury is either Vitinha. Vitinha has still gone on injury. I remember in the Champions League group stage, Vitinha has gone on injury. The only person that I'm not sure of that because I'm not checked to is this guy. What do they call him? Kvaratskhelia.
Good. Now, since you feel the need to interrupt me when I was speaking, but I said that Arsenal, but their players have been injured, all been injured for a significant part of the season. Not one of these players that I have mentioned that went on injury have been an injury lesser than a month. Not one. And my point is that I was speaking to the commentator of Arsenal because this was my time to speak, since we are not being cordial anymore. What I was saying was when I was making my case, because when you were making your case, I could interrupt you and interject, but I did not want to because I didn't disagree to everything you said. So in order for this thing to be organized, but let me make my case. I say that Arsenal, still having this amount of injuries and players off, were able to still make it to the Champions League final unbeaten and still at the top of the league, only losing twice and still known as all of Arsenal defenders, including the ones on bench. Their starting five, that's Timber, Gabriel, Saliba, Calafiori, Hincapié, Ben White, Mosquera, Luis Kelly. every single one of all of Arsenal defenders, at the point they played Luis Nogard in their centre back. Arsenal has significant injury issues. Kai Havertz has not even played up to 2 months this season. Saka has been out for up to 3 months. These are like not just you get, and they are still doing significantly. So this has to commend Mikel Arteta, because the funny thing is that whether people like it or not, the Premier League is the team with the deepest amount of quality. So for you to have this significant amount of injuries over this long period of times, and most of these players have not played together before this season. A lot of Arsenal made a lot of signings this season which have not played like a year of football together. So for them to do this and still play in the same team and still do all this is commendable, and I feel that Mikel Arteta deserves to be the best manager this year, and that justifies my number 1 and number 2. So we can justify the rest of the position.
Sure. Let me just counter and try for it. Then I'll leave the debate.
If you counter, I'll have to counter again.
I know this one. I'm not countering in terms of being the best manager. I'm just going to sort out what you said, things that you said. First of all, you came out and said he's the best. He has done what no manager at Arsenal has done. That one is your club success. You don't bring it to judging a manager. You also say, let me finish. You also say the players, the way he has changed. If you look back, when the Arteta formed to Arsenal, 2020 also, am I right? 2020. You look back at most of the teams from 2020 to 2026, most of their players have left if they were not young. If you look back at the players, if the players were mostly young too, they have stayed. Okay, let's take a look at Man City too. There are just a few players that were back then that are still here. So things will drastically change, obviously. He built his team. It's a normal thing. He has stayed 6 years in the club. He's supposed to build his team however he wants. He's supposed to build with the concept he thinks is right. So that one is the same thing you could say for Enrique too. Everybody has their own concept of building his team. That one aside, I'm not saying that the injuries are not affecting you. That injuries affect everybody. And at this point of football, we understand that injuries is now normal. The only point I can list so many clubs that are affected by injuries. See, whether you say your number of injuries are larger, almost all the clubs that we know are affected by injuries.
But that's not how these things work. That's not how these things work. You can't say that all clubs are affected by injuries. So everybody should just deal. Yes, everybody has to deal with injuries. But if you're dealing with injuries and you do well, you get, for players that are not necessarily your best players, if Madrid, most of your players have been out for most of the season, which has happened in some particular seasons. You don't
allow me make the point.
Allow me make my
I'm not talking about whether you guys did well with the injuries or not. That's not my point. That's what I'm saying. Let me get to the point first. I'm not talking about whether you guys did well with the injuries or not. I'm giving you a point that you guys dealt with injuries. Other clubs dealt with injuries.
Not as much injuries as we have dealt with.
But that's what I'm trying to open to you. You are an Arsenal fan. You know whether Luis Kelly went on injury. You know whether Mosquera went on injury.
So
let me finish.
You didn't allow me finish either. I know what I'm saying, but you started this. My point is...
you're interrupting me twice. How many times did I interrupt you?
More than twice.
No, more than twice.
More than twice. And when you interrupted me, I allowed you to speak for a round of time before I spoke.
Let me just finish this particular part I'm saying.
Okay.
This Luis Kelly was literally your bench player till this Henkapi, Mosquera, Ben White, all these players, you know they have gone on injury. But how many of these guys' bench players do you know?
Now my question to you, that you're bringing this argument, because I feel like you're bringing this particular point based on a win, because you are not sure either. So which one of these teams do you feel has gone on more injuries than Arsenal?
As I said, I'm not sure.
You're not sure. That's my point. That's my point.
You said you fact check.
You are not sure. Yes.
You fact check.
You know what? Bring out. Should we fact check? Because it can only take a minute.
Yes.
If you want to put your aura on the line, let's fact check. If you know.
How are we going to fact check the number of players?
Yes, now we check the players.
And how many times they have gone on injury?
And how long they have been out.
Yeah.
I'll fact check. Let him speak. The checking will go on while the argument is going on.
Okay. First of all, I would say injuries right now, as we know in football, is a part of the game and it's inevitable. That's why rather than building a quality team right now, a lot of teams go for building a deep team, a team that is so deep and has a lot of depth and quality, rather than just building a first 11 that has so much quality. So it just goes to show you that, okay, already football teams, the clubs and the management have just accepted injuries as a pure part of the game now, considering the amount of games that players play. And so when you talk about injuries, it's not just your team that's facing injury problems. Other teams face injury problems. Barcelona to have faced a significant amount of injury problems. Maybe not as much as yours, considering that Barcelona already, they do not have as much quality. How far now? They talk una no dey even look me.
I'm listening now.
Listen now.
You know, una go fast check the stuff later now. Una go dey interact with me now.
No be interrupt. Now your turn to speak. We suppose dey you wan go interrupt you.
Okay, no wahala. As I was saying, Barcelona itself has also gone through a significant amount of injuries. And when you consider it, Barcelona don't have a deep team either. When you look at it, Rafinha alone has gone on injury for a significant part of an amount of the season. Lewandowski, starting the season, was already injured at the start of the season. Then Yamal, we know when Yamal was injured and had to play through injury for a significant part of the season, but not as much, maybe not up to a 2 month injury, but you get what I mean, even though he played through injury. And when you look at those guys and you look that Barcelona team, who do they have on their bench that can come in and fill that Lamine Yamal role? Nobody can literally really do that. You get what I mean? So I'm just letting you know that already injuries is part of the game. And as football fans, we've come to live with the fact. Because whether you have injuries or not, you don't have the room to make excuses. You cannot make injuries the reason why you fell.
And the reason why you won.
You get? So I'm not saying that when you win with injuries, that is not an achievement. It's an achievement. And I acknowledge that. But you don't make it seem like other teams don't face it too. Frankie de Jong has been injured. We know Balde is Barcelona's starting left back. But how many significant games do you think that Balde has played for Barcelona this season? Koundé on the other side has been injured for a significant part of the season. Then their two centre backs has been maybe Kubasi has stayed fit, and who again? Araujo has not been playing that much. Eric Garcia has been turning up. So let's say
Martin also had injury.
Exactly. So that's the point I'm trying to make. And hold on, I'm coming to you. That's just the injury side when you spoke about the injury. When you talk about Arteta building his team from the scratch, props. I give him props for that. Kudos. He's done a great job, a very, very good job. You get, but it has taken him this long to do that. But we are not going to judge him based on that, because we are putting it up for your work that you have done this season.
Still lifted it.
That we are putting it up based on the work that you've done this season. But when you look at building the team, I won't say that Luis Enrique has built that PSG team from the scratch, because he did not build it from the scratch. We can see that players like Hakimi, Nuno Mendes. Okay, I think Nuno Mendes joined the season where Luis Enrique joined the team, or was he there before then? And then Marquinhos, Pacho wasn't there.
Marquinhos was there.
Yeah, Marquinhos has been a core player in the team. But we can also say for a fact that PSG already were a good team and they were a known team, but they could not also always get it over the line, especially in Europe. PSG in Europe were like a laughing stock. They were like that team where you get to know that they have really good players and they have stars, but they cannot always get the job done. But Luis Enrique has changed that. He has made those players relevant. He has made a significant amount of players in that PSG team one of the best players in each of their positions. So we can also say for a fact that Enrique has also done that good of a job with PSG. So that doesn't take anything away from it. But we are talking about this season, and now this season, you see that what they achieved last season, that they are not so far away, that they are not that much shy away from achieving what they had achieved last season. Do you get what I mean? They've already made it to the Champions League final, and you know, I know you're scared, right? You're scared. Normally, you should be, or like your heart's beating. Okay, rather that PSG team or that Bayern team. This is just a fun question. Who would you have preferred to face in the final? Between the PSG team or the Bayern team? It's just a fun question.
It's not that I feel the PSG team is better than the Bayern team. I would just like to face a team that I've already faced before.
That you've already faced before. Okay, no problem. Now that PSG team has made it to the final and they've lifted the league. Okay, are they League One champions yet?
They are not sure. They
are not yet, but they are en route to being League One champions, just like you are en route to being the Premier League champions. Like right now, they are sitting top of the table and favourites to lift the trophy, right? So you can see that already that they are almost achieving all that they had achieved last season, and what they had achieved last season was the best season in the whole of PSG's history. Just like you said, that what Arteta is achieving this season, that no manager in the Premier League in Arsenal's history has achieved it. So you are also saying that what Luis Enrique is en route to achieving this season, if he lifts the Champions League again and also lifts the League One, I can equally say that no manager in PSG's history has also achieved that. So you saying Arteta and his style and his tactics has been very, very good. I don't take anything away from Arteta, but I just think that this season that Luis Enrique has been the best manager this season.
Now, this is where I have to contradict everything that you people have said, but I still get some. You get. Now let's put this thing in juxtaposition. You spoke about Rafinha, this. You didn't get what I said. Now let me tell you the difference between Arsenal and most of these teams, right? All these other managers have better individual talents than Arsenal.
Okay, let's go this.
Wait, no,
Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you, but since you say individual talents, we'll go band for band.
Wait now. Okay. We can do that later. But I try my best not to interrupt you. I wanted to, but I held myself.
No problem. We can do that later. Yeah.
Most of these teams have more individual talent than Arsenal. And I feel like Arsenal, right, has been the most consistent team throughout the year. Yes, PSG is in the cup final, but they struggled in the league phase. They made the playoffs. In the knockout phase, they have been flawless. Arsenal is completely unbeaten. Arsenal has, even in the league, Arsenal has not lost as many games as PSG has lost in their league, despite being in a more quality league. Right? Yes, they are routes to win their league and the Champions League. But over the course of the season, Arsenal has been the most consistent team out of all these teams. Even Bayern Munich, that is in a somewhat washed league, if we are talking about the general quality of teams in the league, has still lost more games in their league than Arsenal has.
I wouldn't say a washed league.
I didn't say a washed league. I'm saying
just say that the quality in the Premier League is
yes, but
have depth in quality.
I'll contradict for PSG when you are done. I'll contradict that every time people talk down on PSG. I'll contradict for continue.
A lot of interruptions. You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm getting at? Because I try my best not to interrupt people. But let me get my point, right? The Premier League has the most quality of teams, and it's not close. Now, when you spoke about the injury issues, Timber has been out for close to 3-4 months of this season. Saliba has been out for a month of this season. Gabriel, that has been Arsenal's best defender this season, that point in time when he was scoring corner after corner after corner, was out for months plus. Our wait now. I'm getting there. All of our three left backs and all of our right backs have all been significantly out for a span of over 2 months this season. Our best player, and I must, funny thing, just like you said that nobody can give for them. Who can give for Arsenal what Gabriel and Saliba does? Nobody. Who can give for Arsenal what Saka does? Who can give for Arsenal what Declan Rice does?
Saka this season.
Not this season. We're talking about a player. Saka has been out for majority of this season. That's my point. Madueke that came that showed a little glimpse of brilliance. He was also out for a period of time. Trossard, Martinelli. Arsenal has significantly amount of these issues. And guess what? They have 19 clean sheets in the Premier League, 9 clean sheets in the Champions League. No one is saying that injuries are an issue, but I'm telling you, when you're making a point, right, I did not discredit other things by saying this. And I was just putting it out there that Arsenal, because Arsenal has significant amount of injuries, not even core players. I mean, like, we can list over 17 players of Arsenal's team. Arsenal's injury issues are so down bad that they played Mosquera at right back and played Christian Norgard, that is their substitute CDM at centre back. Everybody has had injury issues. I did not wait now. Wait now. I come on. This has to be cordial. Like when I was bringing out injury issues, I was just informing the public of how deep Arsenal's injury issues has been for them to still replicate the best record this year. I never said that PH never had issues. They had issues. Barca had issues, but not as much as Arsenal. And not close. It's not close. It's not close.
It's close.
It's not close.
No, stats. We are going to bring out the stats.
You can't say it's not close. When you say it's not close, Rafinha, you say who has been out for a period of 3 months. If we check how long Rafinha has been out, he has been out for over a period of 3 months.
This one is not about Rafinha.
That's just one player.
Yeah, exactly.
That's just one player. How about Baldi?
Yeah, I know now. There's no point of doing this.
I know that there's an interruption now.
So
you're
I thought you finished speaking.
I didn't finish speaking.
Okay.
You people in charge. I tried my best to not interrupt you guys, so you guys should give me the same benefit of the doubt. Because yes, but I know that Alejandro Balde has been injured, but they got Cancelo. Ikape has been injured. They brought in. So Calafell was injured. Ikape came. Ikape got injured. Luis Kelly came. Luis Kelly got injured. They are playing centre backs and left back and right back. I'm not saying that there were no injury issues. That's not the point I'm making. But let me move forward. Even if you want to interject, I'm making my point. The audience can listen to the injury issues and still say that even without the injury issues, Arsenal has just had a better record than anybody else. You might be this, but Arsenal has just been more consistent over a period of time at an elite level. So that's my point for me making the case that he's number one and Luis Enrique is number 2. So we can either go to 3 and 5. Because if we're still speaking about 1 and 2, we'll stick on going round and round.
Okay.
If you want to, that everybody will need to go round again.
I'm not going to say this. This is why I don't have strength to go band for band. I don't need the stats. If you say Arsenal have no injuries, I don't need the stats. And I remember I don't even think that's a reason for you to say someone is a better
If you don't think it's a reason,
I'm not arguing about it. I've already said what I'm saying. The only thing I'm going to say, the first thing that you said was you did not know how to get it over the line. And up to this point, you have not gotten it over the line. So till when you get it over the line, Arteta is still Arteta. That's what I
okay.
All right. I won't want to waste our time. I think we should move over to 3 and 4 and then 5.
Okay, before we do that, let me counter to what he said. Because the argument, if we are being logical, the argument as when we started the video is the top 5 managers this season.
Okay.
This season, Arsenal has been the most consistent. 1 game to go to be the Premier League champions and 1 game to go to be the Champions League champions. At this point, even without this matches being played, at this point, which manager has done the most this season? who has been the most consistent this season, who has outperformed this season. The audience, as you're watching this video, you have heard all of our points with the top two. This season and this season alone into consistent and contention between Luis Enrique and Mikel Arteta, whose team has been the most consistent and the overall best this season.
Talking about whose team,
whose manager,
their opinion of who they think has been a better manager over the course of this season,
yes.
or whose team has been more consistent or whatever. So that is their decision to make.
Now, let me ask you a question. Since you want to be so the best manager doesn't have to be the best team. Is that what you're saying?
It's actually possible that you're
the best manager.
It's possible. Is it possible?
Wait, ask a question now. I just want to hear your opinion. Out of these 5 managers, right? It's possible that the best manager this season is not the manager with the team that's performed the best.
Yes, it's possible.
It's possible.
Yeah.
All right.
So we saying that whoever wins it. Okay, if PSG win the Champions League,
pick a question you want to ask me.
If PSG win the Champions League, will you still say Arteta has been the better manager this season?
And Arsenal wins the Premier League?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Why?
Because Arsenal has been more consistent over the course of the season. But if you look at PSG's team this season and you put their win-loss scores on and the teams that have the teams that they have faced over the course of the season, not just in the Champions League. You see, that's the funny thing. You can't. No disrespect to both La Liga, Bundesliga, or
yes, I want this. This one is what I want. I even forgot to talk about it. I'm very, very sorry, but I forgot to talk about it. You people keep saying this thing about
you're interrupting me now.
Okay,
you're forever. I thought we had already.
No.
Let's bring something else.
Let's
I was about to end it.
Another video about this. Because I don't believe in what you just said.
PSG's league.
You're saying
I'm saying that the quality of teams in the Premier League is not the same quality of teams in League One, Bundesliga and La Liga. That's what I'm saying.
Yes, but you cannot discredit the fact that a league win is a league win.
That's not what I was doing. So I did not discredit a league win. You're just bringing that into conversation. If you had allowed me to finish and listen, you would have heard what does not matter. What I'm saying from what you're saying does not matter.
Like, it does not matter whether someone won the league in the Premier League or the League One right now.
It matters.
Do you know why I say? That's what I'm saying. You know why? Every time we say the number of teams that are in the Premier League, whether the number of qualities that are in the Premier League, obviously there are so many big teams in the Premier League, so many teams that can actually put you on the run. But I have seen PSG over the course of 2 seasons put up with your biggest teams in the Champions League. And they have won.
And it was not even close.
Wait. And they have won. Mm-hmm. Over 2 legs, 1 leg, and they have won. Mm-hmm. And you're trying to tell me that the consistency that they have in the Champions League, are you that sure that if they carry PSG team and put inside the Premier League, is it Crystal Palace?
To go into that.
No.
That's why I say we should make another video about it.
Yes, we'll make another video, but Site Out High can completely dismantle what you just said now to make it look like it was not.
To go to
I know now. I know.
Yeah,
but just listen to this statement alone. There was a time that Serie A was a powerhouse. There was a time that La Liga was in this. But now this is a question that you put into context. This is not who is going to be the best team out of the team. The question is, if you put all the teams in League One and all the teams in the Premier League, if PSG takes first, which other League One team will be in the top 10?
That's the difference.
That's the point we are making. That's why we're saying the quality of teams in this. We are not saying that. Wait. I did not say that the Premier League has the best team in the world. I said that the Premier League has the deepest quality of teams in the world. That's why last season they were in the Conference League and Europa League final. This season they're in the Champions League final, Europa League final, and Conference League final. Whether you can't deny it, nobody's saying that this, but it's openly open that the Premier League just has a deeper bag of teams.
And you winning the Premier League, you're trying to give extra deep credit, whether you like it or not, for you training it out there.
Yes, now because it's harder to win the Premier League than to win the
That's my point. when you say it's harder to win the Premier League, you say the Premier League has the deepest number of teams that have quality.
Yes.
How many teams do you think PSG over the course of this Champions League and last Champions League? How many Premier League teams do you think they are faced?
You're just saying PSG. That's why the argument is baseless. Nobody is saying that the Premier League teams are better than PSG.
Me, I'm not.
They use another team other than PSG.
No,
I was only
you don't
using
get his context.
PSG. That's what I'm
You don't get his
saying.
context.
I told you
He's
whether
saying-
if they carry
He's saying that you are
and-
trying to say that PSG's Champions League, PSG league win
is not
may not be
as great as
Premier League. If Arsenal win the Premier League, it may not be as great as their own.
But you don't
Premier
know for a
League.
fact.
In terms of you brought the context of
The
the
number
quality
of teams.
and the depth of the teams in the Premier
Which I
League.
also
Now
agree.
he's trying to say the teams in the Premier League, PSG has faced this team. So it's not even a matter of the teams in League One versus the teams in the Premier League. It's
That's
just a
the
matter of
point.
PSG
Whether
and the
we
teams in
win.
the Premier League.
Jesus Christ.
I'm not saying that
Yes.
PSG
No, you don't get. PSG significantly, their attackers and everything, they were benched for a majority part of this season and they won their league. If they were in Premier League, it would not be. I don't think it would be possible.
Do you know whether they will bench?
I don't. They were injured.
Some were injured, but you said benched. You said bench here.
Do you get my point exactly? Let me finish my point now, because when you were talking, I was listening. That's the one thing you don't do. When you talk, I listen.
Talk.
So you get my point. So my point in this case is not about if we pushed in this thing. We are saying which is difficult to win the Premier League or to. So it's not about the teams winning it. It's about the competition in the league. It's about the quality of teams in the league. It's about which league is more demanding.
See,
But
this whole thing is
let
that
us
you
move
don't
on.
get
Should be a
me.
Do
video
you know
for
what?
another day.
It will be a video for another day. But please, if you got to this point, give your thoughts. Give your thoughts about every single thing that you're hearing. Because I can't even believe that this is really a conversation.
And
I did not tell you whether. See, you people are just misconcepting what I'm just saying. My own is that I don't believe that the League One is better than the Premier League in terms of quality. The same way that you say the PSG front line has been injured, you did it. You did it this season with so many players injured. Let's not act as if you did not do it. You did it. I'm just being real. We always make a conception of if this was this and that. But my own is I'm not even arguing with that.
So what is your point?
My point is that you should take into account that if PSG have faced almost 6 or I don't know, almost 6 or 7 players.
What does that have to be about which league is more
That's
taxing?
why I'm not. This is why I'm not saying one-on-one. That's why I'm not saying one-on-one. Okay, why do you think
what I said before you started talking was that the Premier League was more taxing to win. So what are you saying? Are you saying that it's more taxing or it's not more taxing? What is your stance? Because all these things you're talking about is about the PSG and the Premier League teams. What are you saying? Are you agreeing that the Premier League is more taxing or the one is more taxing, or you're saying something completely
I'm
different?
saying that if the coaches have done it in their respective league, whether
So
you like it or not, they
So
should
to
still
you,
be-
which league is more taxing?
which one is more taxing?
Which league is more difficult to win? Which league has more quality of teams? That's what I want to hear. Because that's what I said.
When you say more difficult to win, you know I can literally come with an argument of what.
Okay, the Champions League is the most is highly rated than all other club competitions because it has the best teams. Isn't that why the Champions League is harder to win?
If you say
Yes, now, yes. Isn't that why Champions League is rated as the competition where they say which club is the best club?
at this
It's
point,
not because
no, that's what I'm saying. I understand what he's trying to make me say, but that's the point.
no, not about trying to. I want to hear your opinion.
You're saying which is harder to win.
Yes.
Or is it, you know that the only 2 teams that are competing in your league to win. It's
Oh,
not in the Premier League. It's not even about who's competing to win. We can say that Liverpool have been shit. All these teams have been shit.
You're saying everything, but you're trying to counter something, but you're not saying anything. Are you disagreeing with what I'm saying that the Premier League is with the team with the most quality? Is that what you're disagreeing
Okay,
with?
let me say like this.
Are you disagreeing with what I said?
Let me say what I want to say now.
No, I want an answer.
I want
Are you
to say
disagreeing?
something.
Answer me first. Are you disagreeing with
I'm
me?
not going to answer you.
Exactly.
Because you're going to
Listen,
contradict me. I can't
I'm not
contradict
con-
my-
no, I'm not contradicting
The question
you.
is going
I'm
to
just
contradict
asking
me.
How?
Okay, let me ask you a
I'm
question.
asking you. No, I'm asking you for your opinion. Are you agreeing with me or you're disagreeing with me?
Okay, I agree.
You agree with me.
So can I ask a question now?
So what are we talking about?
No, I want to show you that you can contradict yourself. Should I ask you a question now?
Ask me a question.
How many teams have PSG won from your league? They have won literally almost all the top teams in your league between last season and this season. Does that mean if they come to the Premier League, they'll win the Premier League?
I've won PSG too. Man City has won PSG too. Okay, not the Champions League and racing, but I know that I've won PSG in the league phase. So that means I can beat PSG.
You played PSG.
Yeah,
I'm not saying about one
last year.
game.
It's between last year and last year.
I'm not saying one.
PSG.
I'm not saying one
Wait
game.
now.
If I say one game, that I said between the number of games that they played of last
Wait
season.
now. I'm not answering your question. I played PSG and I get them 2-0 in the league phase. But I didn't beat them in the knockout phase.
Over 2 legs.
I didn't beat them over 2 legs, but I won them. I proved that I can win them. So that's not what I'm understanding. Do you understand why I feel like this? Wait now.
You're not answering me.
Do you understand? No,
you're not answering me, but I answered you.
No, it does not mean.
Okay,
and I'm not contradicting myself. But now look at this.
You've answered me.
Look at this. Look at this. Look at this and try and see how this does not make any sense. The whole premise of him trying to counter me was me saying that the Premier League has more quality of teams.
No.
But he was saying a whole bunch of things without either saying whether he agreed with me or not. At the end of the day, after saying a whole bunch of what he was saying, he said that the Premier League is the team with the most quality of teams. The same way the Champions League is harder to win because it possesses more quality of teams. So if you're being logical, the Premier League is the team that's going to be the most difficult because it's demanding. You can't rest, you can't play because it has more quality of teams than League One.
They are not. In terms of Europe, nobody has come out and said if you win the Premier League, it's better for you to win the Premier League than win the
Nobody has.
Yes, exactly.
Nobody has finished now. You interrupted me now. It's not you that did like this to you.
Let me just say this one now. This what you said now was the Premier League is harder. Everybody, yes, but in terms of the Champions League, it's different. The Champions League, as of now, they have come out and said the Champions League is highly rated, highly more paid than the Premier League.
Why?
Because it is the hardest, and everybody.
Why is it the hardest?
Okay, if the thing in the Premier League is so hard, let them come out and
why is it the hardest?
In terms of everybody coming into the Champions League, it's not the same thing as the Premier League.
Why is
the
it
Premier
the
League
highest?
teams that see only teams in the Premier League can play the Premier League.
Why is the Champions League the highest?
Only because different teams of all the league come into the Champions
Why?
League.
That's not the
And the
reason.
person that wins is like contradicting all the other teams.
That's not why the Champions League. That's why not the champ. That's the funny thing. You're saying a whole bunch of things, but you're not saying the point. The Champions League was created to decide which team is the best team in Europe. So only the best teams compete to know who is the best team. The Premier League has an average of the best teams than other leagues.
But it has not been noted.
That's why it's noted as the best league.
It is noted, but if you win the Premier League, does not mean that you
Do you
win
understand?
the one.
Do you know why they give teams? Why they say that
Hold
teams
up,
are
hold up, hold up,
just like
hold
when
up.
just like when the
Hold
Serie
up,
A,
hold
just
up.
like how the Serie A.
I think we are drifting away from
Yes,
our topic,
let
and
me
we've been drifting
complete.
away from the topic for a very long time. There's no time to conclude what
Okay.
you're saying.
Okay.
So let's just get back into what we're saying.
Fine, let's get back on his name. But just let us know what you think. Let's just drop it because I've already made my point. I've already made my point because it's a whole bunch of
Yeah, let's get back into the topic.
So okay, fine. We have given our thought to who's your third.
My thought, like I said, was Hansi Flick, right?
Yeah. Why do you think Hansi Flick is number 3? Over Arteta and who? Pep.
First is me saying Hansi Flick is number 3 over Arteta. It comes from more like, let's say, a rival point of view, and from a traumatic point of view.
Okay.
So it's not mainly purely based on the job that the coach has done. It's purely from a traumatic point of view. But don't get me wrong, people don't seem to realize the job that Hansi Flick has done in Barcelona, not just last season but this season. Hansi Flick, when we speak about building a team, right? Arteta has been able to build team. He has been able to get funding from the board to probably purchase a player or two that he wants to get. You get. But Hansi Flick, on the other hand, ever since taking over in that Barcelona squad, right? we're just talking about
Let me put this out here.
Alpha.
Let me just put
I
this
dey
out.
talk.
You see what
No talk, I dey talk. I dey talk, no talk.
You see what I'm saying? The
So-
interruptions need to. You need to stop. The interruptions
me-
need to
let me
stop.
You can't be talking about building of squad every time. Me and August, people have been saying this since, but we are talking about just one first season.
Interruptions.
Hold on,
bro.
let me finish.
That's the thing. You can't keep interrupting
You
people.
can't put words in my mouth. I'm trying to say something, so you have to let me finish.
Finish. Then when it gets to you, you counter
Yes,
it.
exactly.
You can't counter
So
it
now,
when somebody
hold on. What I was saying in terms of building squad, I wasn't saying Hansi Flick before he came to Barcelona. Before he came to Barcelona, we all know Barcelona were in shambles, but we are talking about this season. So if we are talking about this season, we have to put into context the funding you got for building the squad this season, right? We all know, like, teams in the Premier League, we know the amount they've spent. Teams spending 400 million, 300 million, you get, right? You cannot tell me that in 2026 or as a last summer, summer of 2025, a club will spend 30 million in transfer. Even Newcastle doesn't spend 30 million in transfer. Even the team that finished as the best team in Europe last season did not spend 30 million in transfer, knowing that they have the best players. And so, knowing that you have the best players, you will not go out to get players. You get, they did not spend 30 million. No club has spent 30 million. And now, you've just finished spending 30 million, you come into the season. Your major rivals, Real Madrid, has spent a lot of money. I'm a Madrid fan, we all know that. Had spent significant amount of money in the transfer window. And you come out and do what you've done this season. And now taking into consideration that players like Rafinha has been injured through the course of the season. And they now had to. That's just aside. I'm just putting okay, right. I'm just putting that out there. Now, they now had to make do with players like Marcus Rashford, which they got on loan. Eric Garcia playing out of position. He has played left back. He has played left back this season. He has played right back this season. He has played centre back. That Barcelona team, Hansi Flick has done a good job. People may not seem to understand the job that Hansi Flick has done with that Barcelona team. But as a rival fan, I can't help but just commend the job. And that's why I have to put him at number 3 over Arteta. It just comes from that point. So yeah, you can take center stage.
As I was saying, the two of you have been saying absolute bonkers things. Everyone is on saying Arteta building a team from the time we're not even going into that. We're just talking about this season. And we are talking about this season. It's not even about building. I don't know why people had to go that far. All I'm going to say is it's not even a place of rivalry. Hansi Flick has done better than Arteta this season, apart from the trophies. If Arteta wins the Champions League, because Hansi Flick has won another trophy. Let's not forget he has won another trophy in the league. And Arteta is still on yet. He has not still won the Premier League. Everybody has been saying he has not still done it. And already Hansi Flick has concluded the season. He has done so well. And as you said, whether it's annoying me right now, you also have to come to the conclusion that the number of the amount of money spent is very different. Like, I don't think that Arteta built his team this season. Arteta did not build any team this season. Arteta just financed the team or made it thicker. In terms of, let me say, do this, do that, Arteta did not do anything this season. He just got Gyökeres, which we all knew he needed a striker. Which till now he has not even still utilized the striker to how we thought he would be.
He improved the depth of the team.
Have you seen now? You see the way he vex for me say I interrupt. No try am again. I will keep quiet, but nobody interrupt me when I dey talk. Okay, everybody dey good back. The same thing as for the two centre backs. They were already before this season on course to being the two best centre backs last season. Even as our last season, we could say that the right back Timber was still that good. Okay, this season let's say Timber picked up, but Calafiori we are not even sure of his level yet because of inconsistencies. So I'm not saying even coach Zubimendi and the level has not been there. Players have been declining. Players like Odegaard, Eze, we don't even know how he's going to be. The only player consistent in the form of Arteta's team is Declan Rice. Someone that you're telling me that in the space of the whole season that they have been the best. So in the space of the whole season, I think that Barcelona, let me not go back to Arteta because it's like saying that deja vu. In the course of the whole season, I think that Barcelona have done better, and in terms of Hansi Flick managing the whole squad, one thing people fail to understand, they keep talking about Madrid's injury, but I'm going to talk about Barcelona's injuries. And because of their lack of funds, they cannot actually address the injuries how other clubs can address the injuries. Since I put Hansi Flick over Arteta, I put Arteta third or Hansi Flick second, but I'm going to address the fact that I'm putting Hansi Flick second and Arteta third. My fault is that Arteta has already built everything that if a player goes to an injury, he has put in place that he can replace this player. No, in terms of this guy, what do they call him? As if nothing like that. If Dani Olmo, this guy, Pedri and De Jong goes on injury, the only person that has a sure replacement is Dani Olmo, and that's Fermin Lopez. They tried for Rafinha, but we can see it was only Rashford, Lamine Yamal, then Lewandowski. And in terms of the whole season, I can tell you that the building of the squad and the tactical changes a coach had to do in terms of everything. And as at this part of the season, I think that Hansi Flick has achieved better than Arteta. Obviously, we saw Arteta almost done at half part of the season, but yes, the season is still on with a Man City team that still got beaten by a Madrid team. People will say, whether you like it to say that my team is shito, but they are competing a Madrid side that is shito. But yet they still managed to pull out a two-legged outing and 2 times that they won Man City. So it's not even about. I'm just trying to show you that in terms of right now as we are speaking, and Flick has done better than Arteta.
All right.
And Arteta is still.
So why I interject, right? Because it's so comical that the injuries that they were trying so hard to interject still came into the conversation. And him saying, I don't know why people are bringing in funding and this. If you thank God, right? Now I'll bring it in the screen. In the beginning part of this video, he brought about building a team. So him coming to discredit him saying funding and building of a team, when he was the first person to bring that in this video, which will be highlighted in, you see that right now, was very, very amusing, right? Then him saying this. Lamine Yamal is literally the best right winger in the world. Rafinha was the best left winger in the world last season. Pedri was arguably the best midfielder in the world. You get what I'm saying? He believes, because that's not my opinion, he believes that Joan Garcia is a better goalkeeper than David Raya. Not me, but that's what he believes, right? Then him is saying about, that with that Madrid won Man City over 2 legs. Atletico Madrid has faced Barcelona how many times this season? How many times has Barcelona won? And Arsenal has played Atletico Madrid 3 times this season. That doesn't mean. And like you get, when you bring that into light, it makes what he says sounds funny. Because that's not how things work. Saying that, in the tactical days that Arsenal this. Arsenal's highest goal scorer at the point in time was Mikel Merino. It's on injury. Arsenal literally didn't have a right back. Christian Mosquera never played right back before this season, but he ended up being a right back. Yes, he was never a right back.
In his life,
yes, he has never played right back in his life.
In professional football.
You said that he should not interrupt you and wanted to cry, and now you're interrupting me. Have you seen how they... So, in his professional course, Christian Mosquera is 21 years old. He debuted as a centre back and in his professional career has always played centre back. Like in his career, saying that Arsenal, before Arteta, Saka was a left back. Lewis Kelly is a midfielder that Arteta plays at left back and at midfield. When Arsenal bought Calafiori was a centre back. So when you realize, as Arteta has always found a way, I can have a Mikel Merino over there played the 9. If you want to think about Arteta's tactical brilliance, Arsenal becoming the best set-piece team in Europe, he has been more consistent over the run of the year. Then they now brought into funding into display. Right? When you bring funding into play, you will now look at, like, yes, I agree, right? Barcelona, the bigger teams have terrible funding. They have terrible funding. Right? You now look at the positions that they needed helping. Maybe they need a center back or two. You get right. They center back or two. When Alexander Bando went out, they got Cancelo, which has done an amazing job.
Cancelo came in January.
I know now. He came in January now.
Yeah, Balde was injured long before January.
I know now. I'm just making my point now. He got injured, but they got Cancelo. They got Cancelo now that did an amazing job. Now look at all these players that have done amazing well for Arteta. If you want to be realistic about it, how many people knew about Christian Mosquera before Arteta? How many people knew Carlo Fiore before Arteta? How many people knew Luis Kelly before Arteta? And he made them into staples, the ones that are staples. I know that I commend Hansi Flick because he has this high line, position, press, creativity, breakdown. But Arteta also has his tactical brilliance as well. If you're saying that Barcelona has this and the cup trophy, fine. The cup trophy that they have is the Spanish Super Cup, right? That happened at the beginning of the season.
No, it wasn't at the beginning of the season.
The Spanish
It was
Super
in January.
Okay, the Spanish Super Cup that they had that is Super Cup now.
Yeah.
To get to them is from what you did last season.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the cup that they won was the Spanish Super Cup that's like a community shield. And the only actual thing that they have won this season is a league. If that's what I'm saying now, I'm saying that it's the same thing as a community shield now. Right, isn't it? Yes, now the Spanish Super Cup is equivalent to a community shield. So the actual only thing that he has won this season is a league, which is a good feat. But again, Arsenal are close to winning the league. I don't want to speak on the quality of teams because I've already made my point. But Barca has won their league. Arsenal is one game away from winning their league. I don't think that Hansi Flick has done better than Vincent Kompany. That's why Kompany is my third.
That's why I had Kompany in second.
Vincent Kompany is my third. And Hansi Flick has done a great job. He just had way more lapses. Because the funny thing is that they went out to an electrical team multiple times this season and they were favourites each time. They underachieved because they should have been the ones in the final. Everybody that looked at that guy, most of them
had to face Arsenal.
I know they still had to face Arsenal, but
sure.
Even it wasn't for sure. But I'm saying that most people gave them the edge because it's Barcelona.
And
so for them,
interruption
now.
It's not an interruption.
It's an interruption.
I can also say
It's an interruption now. It's an interruption.
Said Arsenal
It's an interruption. I didn't interrupt now. It's an interruption. If you put it the way, they underachieved because they went out to Atletico Madrid in two competitions where they were favourites. He should have done better. And he had red card in more than one of those ties, if not three. He could have done better. He should have done better. Because one time is the players, 2 times, 3 times, there's something you're doing wrong as a coach. It was too consistent. That's why I would give the tail to Vincent Kompany winning their league and going out to arguably the best team in the competition. That's the PSG team. Because most people say that PSG team is the best team free flowing football. So if not for PSG, Bayern team would have, because you get now. So anyway, that time could have gone either way. So going out to PSG, I don't really front Bayern. So that's why Kompany is my third and Hansi Flick is my fourth. All right, I'm done. That's it, man. It's back to you for your fifth.
We all know why I said Faith, and I don't see any reason why I should put him high up in the list. So, over to you.
I mean, the field is not a question, but I'm going to now counter what he said. Because that's the whole point of the argument. First of all, he said in cause of, I was the one that brought up the whole argument of in terms of squad building. That's in terms of how long the team has built the squad yet. What I'm going to say, I don't remember that. If the video is there and you bring it up, good for you. The second thing is that we are not still check the stats which we are going to bring up here of whether Arsenal have the best and the most injury issue.
Yeah, it will be at the end of the video when we're editing because it's no time.
Then we also bring out the stats stats that he's saying that Mosquera has never played right back in his life before.
In his professional career, yeah.
Exactly. Then you now came
And
to
Fury and Saka and the rest
you
of
see,
it.
you've been talking things, but yet I don't want to talk here. You have said like three things while I'm talking now, but I won't say that you're a crybaby now, but it's alright. As we are saying now, you now brought up the whole situation of Spanish Super Cup is not FA Cup. Your FA Cup is being played. Yes, the qualifications is based on what you did last season qualifying, but it's the same thing as the Champions League and most other things. In terms of qualifying for a cup, I don't know if you get qualifying for the it's just one thing that you qualify and come and play. And you play it even at the beginning before any league match in the Premier League. I don't know if you get my point. But the Spanish Super Cup, when you qualify, you still have 4 teams in the playoffs to play, and they play it mid-season. And if you want to come out and argue whatever you want to argue, when they bring out stats and say how many trophies have they won this season, you will not tell me that Spanish Super Cup was of last season. They'll bring it out and say the cup was being won this season. So which one is all those ones are caps? Which other point did I want to make? You now talked about is it Arteta slotting players into different roles, and that one is meant to. Obviously, you said Arsenal had injuries, and I can say the same for this guy because when he came in, Rafinha was not a right winger. He changed. Fermin Lopez has played left wing, played cam. All those ones are still tactical brilliance of what a coach has to do this season. All I've said is that as of now, whether you like it or not, Arteta has not achieved what Flick has achieved with the amount of funding that he was put in to build a team for this particular season. He has not. Flick has won the league. Arteta has not won the league. Flick has won the cup. Arteta has not won. So I don't even understand. Then you now brought out the fact that they were favourites to win Atletico Madrid in 2 ties. Were you not favourites to win whoever you went out in the cup competition? The 2 cup competition that you went out in. Were you not favourites to win them? As a win you were you not? What does that mean? When I also said that Arsenal, that Madrid knocked out Man City, I was not saying that because Madrid knocked out Man City that they win your league. You blew me out of context. You just made me look like a joke. I was just trying to say because that's what Premier League teams do. They undermine the La Liga because of what happened. I was just trying to tell you that if Madrid can do that to Man City in 2 legs in the Champions League, it does not mean because they are shit in their league that it's totally rubbish that Barcelona have achieved. What I was just trying to say was that I don't know if you get my point now.
What were you trying to say?
I was just trying to put it out there that you should not undermine what Barcelona are doing because you think that Real Madrid have been shit throughout the course of the season. Let's not forget this Madrid that you think has been shit throughout the course of the season. When did they go out in the Champions League? And you're interrupting me again.
I wanted to understand what you were saying.
But it's true now, you've been interrupting me since. Whether you like it or not, you've been interrupting me.
Okay.
What I was trying to say is that, as you have seen, no matter how you want to say Madrid has been shit throughout the course of the season, I can say that before Arsenal, there is no other Premier League team that was seen in the Champions League with them. I'm not saying that Madrid are better than all the teams that have left the Champions League or not. I'm just trying to show you the fact that whether you like it or not, you still have to see that what Flick has done is still a high status winning the league and winning the cup competition.
So back to what I was going to say, right?